What's going on, guys? It's Chef, and today we're not going to be playing any Call of Duty. We're just going to sit here and talk, and yeah, that's pretty much it. People have been asking me in the comment sections to take a break and stuff like that. This isn't necessarily a break. I'm still uploading or whatever, but I'm just not playing at the moment, and I feel like just making this kind of video to kind of talk to you guys about where I am mentally and kind of explain it to everybody. I feel like, you know, over the time with all this grinding and stuff like that, a lot of people felt kind of more and more distance in a sense of like being connected to me personally. I've always shared almost every single detail that's going on in my life, and I haven't actively like really stopped that. It's that my life at the moment is at this point, I try to keep a lot of like, you know, the information and stuff like that away from it, because a lot of it ends up being like, you know, super personal and all this other stuff. I had no problem explaining personal things before, but then, you know, it's just worrying about actual, you know, information. So over the years, obviously, as things like the internet and all sorts of stuff have gotten more and more, you know, dangerous and all this stuff, I used to just straight up record my videos outside, not worried about anything, you know, all this other stuff. So over time, you know, you have to be a little bit more reserved in some areas and stuff. So that might be the reason why some people feel a bit more disconnected. But this is all I'm doing all day. I mean, with the sheer amount of progress, what other time do I have? But my life is still the same that it was. I've been, you know, self-reflecting the past, I don't know, month or something like that, just ever since all this stuff has been happening, and I'm thinking about, you know, the grand scheme of life and all this crazy structural stuff and social and economical and all this other crazy stuff that, you know, sounds boring when you're a kid and like it doesn't matter, but as you get older, it's very, very real. So I've just been thinking about, you know, anything that I could have, you know, said to somebody or acted a certain way or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Even if I didn't think something was like crazy offensive or something like that, you know what I mean? I could have. And the last thing I want to do is try to teach people to do that kind of thing. So over the years, now this isn't anything recent, just over the years, you know, I have done, I think, a pretty good job of cleaning a lot of that up. And obviously YouTube's monetization system also does that in its own way, shape, and form, or whatever. So I'm kind of like in that headspace of like looking at myself, and I'm just like, you know, a lot of people will come to me and be like, oh, you're the realest phase member, you're this, you're that, and I'll get like a bunch of high praise from people. And for me, I feel like I get too much praise for what it is that I actually do. When I say I don't know what I did to deserve this kind of stuff, I'm not looking for an explanation. Just so much stuff has happened, like related to mental health and all that other stuff too, that it's just, it makes me actively think about it. My mental state when I wake up is completely different from what it was before. I'm just thinking in this way that as I've gotten older, and I don't know, like at what point your brain stops developing and all this other stuff, but full-grown human adult brain is, you know, like, man, I can sit there and watch like Titanic or something and not shed a tear before. And obviously I had some movies out there that would, you know, get me in my feels, but now I'm like emotional. I'm feeling things that I just didn't feel before, and it's really confusing, and it's really like, there's a lot of turmoil. I just don't want anyone to think that I'm in danger or whatever it is. I'm not trying to, you know, say anything like that. I just want to explain, you know, where my mental's at. I'm grinding and everything like that. I'm just working each and every single day to not be a burden or a negative drain on the world in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? At a lot of different points, I was completely okay with being literally nothing. And to be very critical of myself, I don't know what I am outside of this. You understand? This has been my life, and the internet and everything has been what I have grown up on throughout my entire life. I have grown up through this. And I think it has a lot of mental effects that just, I don't know. It's not like anything's changing. I'm just kind of explaining where my head is at as far as all of this kind of stuff goes. So I know a lot of people around me are also hurting, struggling, and stuff like that. I just want you guys to know we're all gonna get through this. We're all trying to, you know, figure out what to do and scramble and all this other stuff. I also never thought that I would be in the position that I'm in, and although I'm very thankful, I think I've done a pretty good job over the past few years and stuff, but it's definitely not necessarily what I thought I was signing up for. I have no idea how else to explain that. I did it, and I had like the hopes and dreams in the back of my mind, but I never thought it would happen. And now that it's been a thing for a few years, and all of you guys are still here stronger than ever, your perspective changes. I know that a lot of my viewers have grown up with me throughout the years and stuff like that. I used to have a lot of much younger viewers and stuff, and now I see that, you know, in my demographics, it's overwhelmingly people at least over, you know, into their 20s and stuff. So that's completely fine. It's interesting to me to know that a lot of people have watched me for so long that even they had gone through their own changes in life and everything like that. This is a really cool thing. Like, between us, even if I don't know you and you don't really like know me right here, at least we can communicate. Communication is a lot more difficult and a lot more complicated than it felt like before. And a lot of this is really coming to the forefront of my mind. I'm still just going for this grind and everything. I'm just chilling or whatever, but just know, I think we all know that all of us aren't perfect. I think that we all know that, you know, we've all said or done something that we regret. And some people beat themselves up for it. Some people don't believe that they did anything wrong. Some other people try to find justification or whatever it may be. But ultimately, it still just feels bad that it happened. That's just what's been eating me up. Trying to concentrate on, you know, gaming and stuff like that. And as far as talking about personal things, there's just not that much going on. It's a lot going on up here. And everything is okay. I just don't want people to worry because I've seen so many people like genuinely reach out to me and send me DMs and all sorts of other stuff like that. And I know I've always just tried to do my own thing. I've been doing the same thing for years, and some people might see that, I guess, as like a negative or whatever it may be, but you know, oh, you don't adapt or your content doesn't evolve or whatever it may be. But I've always just done things that I enjoyed, and I didn't realize that maybe just some parts of the things that I enjoyed may be bad. Although I definitely enjoy those moments and stuff like that from the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and everybody screaming all sorts of terrible obscenities at each other and me just sitting here thinking in my head like, this is normalized, no one says this in real life. If they did, you know, this would happen and all this other stuff. And it was separated. And now that the world is like all here on the internet, the worlds are colliding. And it's kind of crazy. I don't really know what's gonna come after the grind is over or whatever. A lot of people have been asking for other games and things like that. The only things that I've been looking forward to recently are the Tony Hawk games, the remaster or HD remake or whatever it's called. I'm not entirely sure. Mechanically, apparently they have the old Neversoft code. So if that's true, it's a possibility that all of the old little tips and tricks that you could use, butt slapping, wall shuffling, all sorts of that kind of stuff. If you don't know the terminology, butt slapping sounds really weird, but just don't worry about it. I'm just waiting for the day towards the end of the year where I'm sitting back, relaxing, just taking a nice sip of some carbonated drink with me free running in the Tony Hawk lobbies like I did back on PS2, watching a stream that I'm enjoying while playing a game that I'm enjoying. Like, I just look forward to that, you know? So that's kind of just what, you know, I want to keep working towards, you know, just make it to this point one step at a time. Just thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the videos recently. I don't claim to know everything about, like, you know, mental health or any of that kind of stuff going on. I'm just explaining my thought process and my position mentally, and I'm basically just spending a lot of time really just, you know, self-reflecting on things and just realizing honestly how much I've changed. And a lot of people go and say that, you know, I haven't changed and stuff, but I think as a person I genuinely have definitely gotten much better. I'm proud of who I am today. I'm not so proud of the things that I've said or done, but you know, I'm dealing with that mentally myself. And just thank you guys, and yeah, it's Jeff, guys. Later.